now appearing in the building, up in every ear hole from 80-year-olds to the children. You're here to hear about the heroes and the villains, and save yourself some dollars, yen, and euros from the zeros to the millions. This is a lot of class packed into one podcast. They probably ought to have laws passed, but it's too late to stop the onslaught. Raw blast of compacted, bombastic, five-alarm sass. They're talking AVX, way back to Secret Invasion. They're talking flying up high in the sky, down to the feet on the pavement. They're reading the pages of every single one of the summer events. So other than Bendis, you want to be coming to them when you want the Avengers. They're up inside of your environment with flying iron fists, giant-sized Goliaths, and the tiniest super scientists. Try denying it, but I insist. There's other podcasts, but this is Earth's mightiest. EMP, literally MP3 TNT. Young, new, mighty, and secretly. Try denying it, but I insist. There's other podcasts, but this is Earth's mightiest. EMP, literally MP3 TNT. Young, new, mighty, and secretly. Try denying it, but I insist. There's other podcasts, but this is Earth's mightiest.
Welcome to EMBS, where we shoot the breeze for an hour. Today is May 27th, which is the day we are recording, so we will be spoiling all kinds of stuff. Free-form conversation, so check the show notes if you don't want to be spoiled on any of this pop culture stuff that we are going to be discussing.
Yes, and if you want to get these right when we release them, you can support us on Patreon, patreon.earthsmightiestpodcast.com. As little as $1, you can get them. Otherwise, you'll just get them a month late. But it'd be nice. If you can. We know times are hard. But, yeah. How's everybody doing?
Hey, you know.
Pretty good.
Pretty, keeping it COVID cool.
How was the weather up there anyway? Because I know besides COVID, you were having some snow stuff.
Yeah, it's been an interesting May. So it's about, I think it's just a hair under 90 right now. Temperature's still rising today. About, let's see, was it 12 days ago we had snow? So, but trust me, global warming, not a thing. Climate change, not a thing. Don't worry about it. Yeah, it's honestly pretty weird. Like, New England kind of always has a funky changeover, shall we call it, in between the major seasons from warm to cold. But like, this is particularly weird. So, just one more indication that the Earth seems to be throwing a hissy fit.
Yeah, we have a pandemic. We have murder hornets. We have there's these and then I saw a story
two, 3 signs of the apocalypse.
Yeah, and then there's another. There were these almost like a chrome blue looking slugs that are showing up on beaches, and they have.
Tell me they're giant.
No, they're not giant, but. Well, at least the ones that we've seen. We're this close to having Pacific Rim, I think. And yeah, they had the venom like Portuguese man of wars.
So they're just super deadly, super bright blue, super non-terrestrial looking.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah.
I was just reading up on this cicada. There's a certain breed of cicada that comes out every 16 years or something like that. And 2020 is that year.
Oh, figures. Oh, yeah. And probably I'll bet you this is the locust year too.
Yeah, no,
probably locusts.
We just
gypsy moths. Yeah,
we just skipped over locusts. They're just nah.
They were like, nah, that's not. We need something that's really going to shock.
Yeah,
the
we need
crap
something
out of
2020. I was like murder hornets and poison slugs.
Nobody reads the Bible anymore, so the locust stuff, that's a little bit old school, Yeah. We need to put something, we need to really, really shock these people into wide-eyed, absolute
We need a New Testament.
Unbridled fear.
Is that what it is? The
new. It's called the Book of Kroll. The new.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Well, at least comics started today. Yay! Or last week, but we got some new X-Men books this week.
Yay!
Woo! And I can pick up a floppy and hold it in my hand, right?
Yes.
Or is it just digital?
No,
okay.
no.
That's
actual comics.
Credit where it's due. That probably took some doing, and at the very least, some logistical ballet to make that happen.
It's either that or they just don't give a shit.
One of the two.
It kind of depends on the company. So,
well, Marvel is. At this point, it's sort of like all the things that you used to take for granted are not necessarily in place, right? So, for the comic book industry, that means Diamond, right? The distribution arm was not in service for a while. So even if they wanted to produce comics, they would have had to go find a whole new chain of whatever, a delivery mechanism. And so I don't know, a little bit by bit, it's nice to see certain things get back up on the normalcy radar.
Yeah.
Well, it also sounds like those other two distributors that DC signed up with are sticking around. So it's like we've got 3 distributors now.
This is one of the very sort of few instances in which the the COVID crisis will end up being a boon to the entire industry in the aftermath. There will never be a distribution problem ever again.
Well, we'll see how it goes. I have this other article saved that I have to read talking about how different the comic books world is going to be in 2021. So I'm looking forward to reading an article and seeing what they're saying.
Yeah, it will be interesting to see how things go.
The other day I was thinking I think it's been a while. I think I'm going to go to the movies. I started to look up when the movies, what was playing. I was I don't know what's playing, but I'm just going to go to a movie tonight. That sounds like a good idea. And then I was as I'm just typing it in, I was COVID, of course, jeez.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
Well, maybe somebody wants to go get coffee. Oh, Joe, we can't go do anything. This is so silly.
Well, shit, man. I had there was a big toy sale at GameStop, and so I was just all right, I'm gonna and I can do in-store pickup, and the only available one that had them in stock was the one in the mall. And I was like, fuck.
Oh, why? Because you didn't want to go in? Or you?
Yeah, I didn't want to.
Yeah.
I'm trying to avoid going indoors when I don't have to, right?
I hear you.
And but then I walk in and it's Florida. People don't give a fuck. And I mean, legit, people were just sitting. There was a good amount. This is Memorial Day weekend, right? So there was still a good amount of people, way too many people, and people wearing masks, but they were put down because they're eating. You're just motherfuckers.
Right. The irony not escaping anyone.
Exactly, right. But yet, they still didn't open the store, right? I had to wait out the door, and I had to call them, and then they would hand me my stuff.
That's interesting. So I thought they closed our GameStop, but I haven't actually checked. I just remember.
Yeah, now they're in store pickup only now, or at least at the moment until they release everything. But and then I have my issues with Chick-fil-A, right? Being the gay haters and everything. But
whatever do you mean?
But in the mall, this is in the mall, but they set up a drive-through in the parking lot, right? With a podium, and they had iPads, and they were taking people's orders, and there was somebody going back and forth into the mall, out, bringing them food. And I was just that's some efficient shit right there, man. Like, if anybody's gonna get a government grant to, like, when we can actually have, like, mass-produced tests for COVID, right? Like, they need to give it to Chick-fil-A.
Well,
Yeah, I'm sure all the service industry.
so I got two little anecdotes for you. One that's about me, and one that's just about that type of craziness. As things like started to get more real and everything's closed down, you drive. Sometimes if you're driving into the little quote unquote city that I live near, Northampton, in the early morning hours, particularly, it can be kind of pretty Walking Dead looking out there. You know, there's like the big marquee over the music venue that says all shows postponed indefinitely. It's kind of freaky, but except there does seem to be one bright area of hustle and bustle. And oh my God, this is such an efficient setup. What is this over here? There's like cars for miles and miles, but they're going really super fast. Oh, it's the weed dispensary. Of course, they've got everything set up perfectly like clockwork. Just come on in, get your pickups, get on out of here.
Yeah.
They've got two police officers out there making sure everything's fit and tidy. Yeah, they're making money hand over fist. So, and then you guys are going to love this. The other day I was parking downtown. I was about to walk over to my buddy's house, and I get out of my car in front of the third party vendor Mac store. It's called Yes Computers, but they like specialize in Mac and Apple stuff. And this kid kind of walks up to me as I'm getting out of the car. He goes, "Are you here to meet me?" And I said, "Excuse me?" He was like, "Oh, never mind." So what I sort of like was able to deduce was that he was moving and he was having like kind of a fire sale. Everything must go from his apartment, which was above the Mac store. And so I overhear him talking to somebody. "Yeah, I've got a couple laptops. I've got a G5 tower." And I said, "So you got a MacBook for sale?" And he said yes, that he wanted $150 for it. I said, "Honestly, I don't even care what condition or what it is. If it's for that money, I'll take it, because that'll be good for me for the parts at the very least." So I'm standing there. We're outside, mind you. And I have my mask around my neck because, to be honest, I'm a little bit less crazy about it. But in fairness, if somebody was like to ask me, I'd definitely put them on, and I try to keep them on when I'm near people and stuff. So around the corner comes this irate gentleman, and he's with the kid who I was trying to buy the computer from, and he's like, You can't be talking to these crazy people going up to look at them. They're out of their minds, Noah. They don't even have masks on. He goes. This guy looks at me, points at me. He goes, "What the fuck are you doing? Where the fuck is your mask?" And I was like, "Whoa, buddy!" Just straight to the F-bombs. And to the at first it was kind of turned some heads, but he kept swearing. He was yelling at me. Really, really profusely. Somebody else was there to buy some stuff, and they started standing up for me like, "Sir, you need to relax. Nobody's even refused anything. Like, he said he had his mask on. He's trying to put it on right now. You stop yelling." And so he's like, "You know what? Forget it. The deal's off." And he tried to cancel the deal. Noah was like, "Sorry about that. If you just wait here a couple minutes, I'll bring it right down." A minute later, this woman walks around the corner, and she's like, "Geez, everyone, they're so crazy around here. Apparently this guy just almost attacked my husband, was refusing to put on a mask, and blah, blah, blah." I was like, "Oh, yeah, ma'am, that was me. As you can see, I'm not crazy, and I think me and your husband got off the wrong foot." And she turns, literally, I swear to God, she turns the other way and starts sprinting down the street. And she's over her shoulder yelling, "I don't feel safe." And I was just like, have I walked into the crazy zone? Like, what's happening here? So finally, the kid comes downstairs. He puts down the MacBook. He's like, "Here, you can grab it over there. Just pick it up, and you can PayPal me the money." So I walk back over to my car, and I open it up to look at it. And instead of the 2010 old MacBook, he's accidentally given me his brand new 2019 decked out joint. And I'm like sitting there going, boy, the really bad, the jerk in me could feel kind of okay about walking away with this. And then I can just hear because I'm out of sight and out of view now, but I hear his mother yelling, "That's what you get for dealing with crazy people." So I I walked back over and I was like, listen, bud, I want you to know that I didn't have to do this. And let your folks know that I'm not crazy and that maybe they should, take a couple of breaths of fresh air. It was about as crazy as I've seen people get over the...
How old was he about?
They were in their, the kid was like, maybe, he was in his 30s probably.
That's not a kid.
Well, I mean...
Their son.
We say that's what we say around here. This guy, he was their son, but they were like, yeah. I mean, he was moving out of his apartment, so like that's how old he was.
Okay.
That's
Gotcha.
I don't know, somewhere between 25 and 40.
I'm thinking he's like 15.
Yeah.
16.
Oh, sorry. No, but you raise a valid point. Like, were these people like, his guardians or what? No, definitely not. They were like trying to help their son move, and it seemed like a strenuous situation for some other unknown reason anyways. Like, they were trying to get out of there really fast, but that's not my problem. You guys, you want to get rid of this stuff or not? So it was just super weird. I was like, I'm trying to give you guys money and like, so I gave, you're making it really hard for me to pay this kid and making it really easy for me to feel like I should walk away with the 2019 MacBook and not give it back, but I did because I'm a good person. So, Noah, if you're out there, hope your folks, took a chill pill. Looked like a pretty hectic scene.
I mean, yeah, for real, this is just going to be an interesting rest of this year or years coming. It's going to be really different out there.
Yeah, this is some troubling times. People,
it is, and
people deal with things differently.
It did give me pause as far as like, all right, so at what, like, where on the actual barometer does this situation fall as far as how right am I and how right are they? Like, we're probably both wrong, but who's the more wrong in this situation? I know that for me, like, part of my way of like dealing with the sort of like the entropy of it all and the sort of like the free floating madness, if you will, is like, if I don't listen to the CNN updates or whatever, like several hours a day, and I don't listen to the next latest wave of fear like media, then that helps. I like kind of like I a little bit close myself off to just like falling for the next buzzword of terror. And that sometimes means that I don't know exactly what the rules are today versus yesterday on when and where I'm supposed to wear a mask and stuff like that. Because, I don't know. It just seems like if you go too crazy with it, then, I don't know, then the terrorists win. Or whatever.
I mean,
like,
nowadays, it just can't be too safe. Just start to wear it everywhere.
That's right.
And with things opening up again.
Yeah, my rule of thumb is if you can breathe the same air as somebody else, then you should wear a mask. So like outdoors, I think you're fine. Well, but like if you're in like a building where there's like air circulating everywhere, like which means like then you probably should wear a fucking mask. And you might not want to eat in a building,
Yeah, I agree.
So but it's to a point even now, like there's already like some red states that are completely opened up, and like I've seen like pool parties. Videos of pool parties and stuff in the Ozarks, and you're just like, oh my god,
that does seem weird.
Yeah,
I mean,
like they're just like everyone just decided that let's just cancel.
This is
COVID.
over.
Let's just cancel coronavirus and just pretend it didn't happen. You're just like, there's a transition period here. But anyway,
and that is kind of it though, right? There's this level of like, there's this aspect to it which is so psychological that I think sometimes some people are shell-shocked in a way that makes them believe they can sort of just shut it off, right? Like, oh, this is too much. I'm done with this. I'm shutting this off. We're not doing this anymore. This isn't right. I'm going back to regular. Because it's kind of like got a hold of them in a way that's...
And like... And you know, and yeah, like you may not die from it, and then you're just like, and people are willing to take that risk. But the people that do have it, even people like our age that aren't senior citizens, like you, like from some of the stories I've heard, right? Like you're out and you're feeling like you're dying for like 5 days, and I'm willing.
Yeah, it doesn't sound fun.
Yeah, it doesn't sound great at all. And you know what? If that means I have to wear a mask for like 30 minutes going to get groceries, that's not that big of a deal for me.
Yeah.
I'm not worried about my constitutional rights.
Yeah.
You know,
and for me it was never about a matter of rights or anything like that.
Yeah.
I just like I remember a few weeks ago I went out like met my mother and we were going grocery shopping and we got to the store and she was like, "Where's your mask?" And I was like, "What are you talking about?" She was like, "You can't go in here without a mask." And I was like, "Oh, come on, Mom." And I just hadn't seen it yet. I hadn't seen what was really the deal. Like once I saw that everyone was doing it, whether or not I like it, I can understand, the what it takes to exist in a community. You got to follow certain rules, and I'm okay with that. If I had my way, there wouldn't be a mask, but that would also be if I had my way, there wouldn't be COVID. Not like
Exactly.
I don't deny the fact that it's like, you got to do it. Then, at a certain point though, there's also like, does wearing this mask make anyone safer, or does wearing this mask make sure that everyone feels safer? And is that the main thing? And even if that is the main thing, maybe that's still important. You know what I mean? Like,
I mean, at the very
there's a
least,
lot to be said for placebo, right?
At the very least, it keeps 6 people from spreading it.
Yep.
Sure.
That's the main thing. It helps them keep it to themselves. But let's leave this new stuff behind and let's talk something fun. Let's get into some media stuff. What you guys been up to?
And
reading, watching,
they're called blue dragon sea slugs, by the way. If you want to look up, they look really cool, but
they do. They look like something out of a...
Yeah, they do look like some kaiju, like Pacific Rim stuff. Like,
Word.
They look really cool. Anyways, I'm just gonna go and go first because I'm talking right now.
Yeah.
What's it called? I read a graphic novel by the name of Metal Shark Bro.
Metal Shark Bro?
Yeah, Metal Shark Bro.
Wow.
It is an indie published book. I think just Scout Comics or something. And it's a Kickstarter, but I think they might be on Diamond now. But it's a writer named Bob France and the art by Walter Ostley. And,
my middle name is Francis. I'm Robert Francis. That's very strange.
Well, it's France, like Frantz. Yeah,
more German than French.
But I just saw the art and I was just like, I'm gonna give this a shot. This looks ridiculous, and it is exactly as you would think it is.
As advertised.
Yes, it's basically it's about so these rockers are on a yacht and just like this heavy metal band are celebrating on a yacht, and they go like, yeah, hail Satan and all this stuff, right? And then one of the guys falls out of the yacht and gets eaten by a shark. And then in comes the nephew of Satan, who's going around going around, and he tells the shark like, "Hey, you ate one of Satan's minions, so so now you're gonna have to make up for it." And then so he turns the shark into a person.
It's like a
person or
spear.
the dude he ate?
Yeah.
It's like a spirit of
he
vengeance,
turns the shark. I mean, the shark just wants to go around being a shark, right?
shark out.
Yeah, but he's just like, but now he's turned into the metal, like a metal person version that is a shark, and he's like, hey, it's like, all right, tell you what, like if you go and kill these people and bring them, these souls to Satan, then maybe I'll change you back.
So to be clear, humanoid with shark face, or like sharkanoid with some human characteristics?
Yeah, it's a human, like wearing like skinny pants and leather jacket, but he has a shark head.
So almost like street sharks, but with a human body.
Yeah, but like more skinnier, like
More
punk
emo
looking. Yeah, not like the big bulky like street sharks. But it's pretty ridiculous. And the particular trade that I read, it says Metal Shark Bro. What the fin?
What the fin?
It's ridiculous. And I love it.
You just reminded me of this movie on Netflix that Johnny's been trying to get me to watch forever, and I finally watched it. Have you guys seen Sweetheart?
No.
Okay. Well, it's on Netflix. It's basically about this girl who gets marooned on an island. Something happens to their boat, and she's stuck on this island, and there's this creature that comes out every night and just trying to kill her and eat her. It's kind of like Castaway meets... I can't even say, like Castaway meets Sharknado in some kind. That's not as crazy as Sharknado, but it's a really interesting, cool story. There's something about it that's just a little lacking somewhere, but it's definitely something to check out. It's really interesting. It's really fun at times, and it puts you in that what would I do in the situation. But it's called Sweetheart. It's pretty interesting.
It's a movie or a show?
It is a movie.
Okay.
Like an hour and a half or something like that. But it's interesting. It's cool. I definitely... Your Metal Shark Bro just kind of reminded me of it, so I put that on the recommendation. Definitely worth checking out.
Okay.
Let's see. I got something. If we're back on. So, you guys may have heard of this sort of... It's a not very well-known little art film called The Big Lebowski.
All right.
Well, it's a pretty well-known. It fell under some things that no one expected, nor did they ask for. Appearing, apparently it was in theaters February 20th, and I think because of the current situation, probably nobody caught on, but it's now available digital. The Jesus Rolls, a spin-off film about the character from The Big Lebowski named the Jesus that they bowl against, and he tells Lebowski and company when they're in the bowling alley, he's like, what's this day of rest shit, man? I would have fucked you in the ass on Saturday, but now I'll fuck you in the ass on a Wednesday instead. Woo! You got a dead Wednesday, baby.
You went out on me, Bobby.
Oh, that's too bad. Am I back? Can you hear me?
You're going in and out a lot, Peter. Is it doing it to you too, or is it just me?
Nope. I hear you guys loud and clear.
Okay.
So, basically, this little...
So this is official?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. It's definitely... it's John Turturro, plays the character. So it's out, and I watched it just because I figured that it needed to be explored. Basically for the journalistic extension of it, and the other main male protagonist is Bobby. I think his name's Bobby Carnival. He's been in a lot of stuff in the last few years. He was in Mr. Robot for one season, and he was in that show Vinyl on HBO. And anyways, it's it's pretty funny. It was way funnier than I thought it was going to be. It's definitely not something I ever expected to see a spin-off of The Big Lebowski. It's not really something that the Coen brothers do. They don't do a lot of spin-off stuff or remakes, even though some of their stuff does get remade, like Fargo's a TV show now and stuff, but I don't think they had anything to do with that. So yeah, if you really wanted to plumb the depths of the reboot, mania, you can check out the Jesus Rolls.
Nice. My one of my old college roommates, he that part where he says, "This is like Chinaman. It's not the correct nomenclature. Asian American, please." He has that as his ringtone for me.
Oh man. Well, Corbin, what were you gonna say?
I said that sounds cool. I remember liking that movie. I may just rewatch it just before I watch Jesus Roll, so I can just have it fresh in my mind, because I remember enjoying that movie.
Are you guys not do you guys not hold Lebowski on the high pedestal that I hold it on?
Oh yeah. I love me some Big
comedic,
Lebowski.
Yeah. Corwin, if you haven't seen it in a while,
it's a great movie, but I can't tell you I can't tell you the last time I saw it in a very long time. That and like Being John Malkovich are just some of the movies that I know I love. Haven't watched it forever.
I'll tell you this. I saw The Big Lebowski in the movie theater, and I remember coming out of the theater just being like, I don't really know what that was about, So, and I was definitely, that means I was probably in high school when I saw it, and I don't think I really got much of the comedic value, but really when you go back and almost every time I watch it, I pick up something new. There's so much little tiny intricacies, and there's really kind of only a couple of paragraphs worth of dialogue, and each character kind of ends up repeating them back in different ways, and it's pretty interesting stuff. In some ways, it's like a period piece, early '90s thing. So.
1998.
Yeah.
Dylan Heights.
And this may be the case, but it may be the case, but you can also assume it's some white people shit.
But yeah, I mean, what it is more so than it is some white people shit. It's some West Coast shit. That's really what it is. I think more so than some white people shit. It's like some Orange County, I don't know, man. There's something about the other side of the country. I know California's blue and all, but when you get over there and you sort of have boots on the ground and you're talking to the people, it's sort of these people are not from my same planet. What are they doing here? Let alone my same country. How did they get here? How are they even still alive? How do they survive day to day? It seems like if you just wind them up and point them, they just keep walking in a direction. And a lot of let's put it shallow gene pools. Shallow gene pool, I think.
Yeah, my old roommate that had the ringtone. He's white.
I'm white too, for the record.
Yes. Anyways, speaking of old classics, and then I can kind of announce, or I can mention the new project that I'm working on is Avatar: The Last Airbender is available on Netflix for streaming.
Oh yeah.
And one of my old comedian friends wanted to do a podcast on it. And I obviously I don't have anything going on. I just have a bajillion things going on. But I was just like, "Damn it, you want to co-host? Let's do it." And nice. So we're basically going through the series 2 episodes at a time with one of his friends, and she's never watched it. She's watching them fresh, and we're going through. It's called the Yip Yip Livestream.
I understood that reference.
Yes. And so far we've gone through the 2 episodes, and we're gonna record the other 2 episodes later tonight.
So you're gonna do like that series? Isn't the Legend of Korra is that like the follow up to that, or?
Yeah, well, I mean it's slightly tied to it, but it happens like years and years after.
Gotcha.
After Avatar: The Last Airbender.
They're also rolling out a live action for Netflix too, right?
Yep.
Which, just like the movie was so well received, are we excited for that? Or
well,
there is no movie.
Yeah, we don't acknowledge the existence.
We don't
of
acknowledge that existence. Understood.
But the creators of the cartoon are involved with the Netflix series, so it should be good.
They're co-signing to that shit.
David Filoni, right? The guy that works on The Mandalorian and
Rebels,
Star Wars stuff.
Yeah, he's been working on Star Wars stuff since Clone Wars.
Yeah, but all the creators of the cartoon are really involved, or I think they are actually creating it, right? So that's a good sign.
Viet, I think it was you that had mentioned that the creators of Avatar were the people who were also responsible for the Dragon Prince.
Yes, and that was very good as well.
I haven't watched it through to the end, but it's definitely enjoyable. And I will give you credit where it's due, Viet. I did start watching Avatar: The Last Airbender, this series, on your definitely solely on your reco. I kind of pick it up and put it down periodically, but it's pretty fun.
Yeah, it's so good. It's one of my favorite series.
Nikolai's watching it now, and I think we're up to where the our nation is invading the north. So it stands up still. It's still good. Still funny.
And there's like a meme going around like comparing it to Game of Thrones. And how much better it is at ending the series and all that stuff. But it's pretty funny.
I wish that I could make everybody see the the Street Sharks images that I'm encountering right now. You guys were both like Street Sharks. It's like Street Sharks. You were so on it at in unison that I was like, I better look up this Street Sharks thing. Oh my god!
You don't know Street Sharks?
You don't remember the Street Sharks?
I mean, no, not even not even a little bit.
Wow.
When was it out?
So this was
wait, is it related to Battletoads?
No, so basically, with the craze of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, right?
Yeah. Yes.
So that really, and then from there, that's when they just started, this is when they just started. Yeah, everything's we need 4 things and another anamorphic,
reptile, humanoid. Preferably reptilian, and or amphibian.
Yeah.
And or mutant, and or street talking.
Yeah, and then like they say things like Jawsome. And it's incredibly 90s. Yeah, so we have there were Street Sharks, there was what other? I mean, did Battletoads happen after Ninja Turtles?
I definitely did happen after Ninja Turtles. I do have a memory. Now that you say that there came a point where it was just the derivative nature of almost every property that was released, and how hard they were just sort of like jawing on the jock, if you will, of the Ninja Turtles was it was just so apparent. The level of non-creativity becomes, even to the kids, it becomes obvious. It's you guys have, not for nothing, but I think you're jumping the shark here.
Yeah, Street Sharks was the GoBots of Transformers.
Dude,
of
I had
Ninja Turtles.
I had some GoBots weren't so bad. They were kind of on point.
Yeah, they weren't.
They were
They weren't Transformers, but they were a good second.
I always thought that. I think it was because I had a slightly exposure to GoBots first, but then the Transformers property was just so much cooler. I mean, you know, Optimus Prime I'd follow him into battle anywhere, basically. So,
all right,
but
All right, go on.
moving on.
Let's keep it moving. I'm going to keep the water theme going because I finally watched that underwater movie with what's her name again, Bobby?
Kristen Stewart. That was Viet who got it the first time.
Yes, or Viet. Sorry.
Credit where it's due.
Exactly. I didn't know what to expect going into that movie, so I didn't really have high expectations. But I enjoyed that movie. It was very thorough. It was very quick-paced. I mean, they didn't really take any moment to rest. The only complaint is the fact that the whole movie, they're literally just trying to escape. But there's a cool twist near the end, and I enjoyed it. My kids enjoyed it. It's a fun movie.
Can we get like the elevator pitch? What's the 15-second synopsis?
Deep underwater drilling going on, and then something happens, and the crew has to escape before everything collapses.
Oh, the Abyss.
Kind mixed with a little bit of Alien.
What do you mean? The Abyss was like totally mixed with Alien. It was literally directed by James Cameron.
I don't remember people dying left and right in the Abyss.
Yeah, no, it's not a horror movie. It's not a horror movie.
Yeah.
I actually So what is that a check or a wreck right there? I mean, is that a swoop? Is that a swoop or a schmoop? Schmoops, for the record, are bad.
I don't speak dude, so it's worth checking out. I'm bringing it up on the show because it's definitely worth checking out. So yes, check it out. It's interesting. It's fun. Pretty good twist at the end. I think you'll enjoy it.
That's interesting. I actually rewatched The Abyss maybe a week or 2 weeks ago. Like, I think it's on HBO right now or something. And mostly because I remembered that Ed Harris was in it. He plays the lead. And when Westworld season 3 was wrapping up, Ed Harris was really kind of like the main protagonist of the first season, and then he's relegated to another type of role for the rest of the series. And I wanted to see, like, he's so old now. Like, it's like he's just really old. And I was trying to get a sense of what he was like as a younger actor. And it is like, I mean, it seems almost like he was old when they did The Abyss. So it's like,
yeah, he's 70.
Yeah, that's gotta be tough, man. I think about that sometimes, like how old some of these guys are in the movies, and like, I mean, I know there's special effects and they can make it look like, you know, this and that and the other thing, but like Harrison Ford, like, I'm pretty sure does a lot of his own stunts still, and that's like crazy.
Dude, his wife is 37.
Who, Ford?
No, Ed Harris.
Ed Harris's wife is 37, so she's younger than me.
Yeah.
That's
No, sorry. Never mind. That's when they were married. They were married in 83. Take that back. Okay, never mind.
Well, I mean,
She's 70.
You know,
I
She's
wouldn't
69.
pass that. I wouldn't put it past anybody.
Give the dude, you know, whatever. Give the dude his props. If he's got it like that, he's got it like that.
They were married. They were married in 83. Take that back. She's 70. They were married in 83. She's 69. So, yeah. Sorry. Just skimming.
We'll take a side note here to notice that a perfect example of why I never want to be too rich, right? Because you can never be sure if people really like you.
Is that why you prevented?
It's being famous.
Well, yeah, famous, but like, and therefore, you know, people want to be around you because you're famous, and also you've got means to, for whatever, probably. But like, yeah, you know,
Is that
I'd
what?
rather be rich and nobody know that I'm rich.
Go,
Yeah.
be it. I want to hear
Sorry.
this. Be it.
Yeah, it was just like, is that the reason why you've kept from being rich, Bobby?
Yeah, that's why I turned down all those raises, and that's why I turned down that movie contract and recording contract as well. Because I just really wanted to kind of. I'm an everyman, kind of.
Yeah,
live out my days.
Yeah, that's just like I always joking around, like as bad as things are right now, and I always say to my friends, is like, have you tried being a billionaire? Maybe you should try that because they're doing pretty good right now.
Have you tried not being poor, Viet? Jesus,
exactly. Maybe you should like not pull yourself up by the bootstraps and not be poor. Could you do that?
All right, Bobby, what else you got? Let's keep it moving. We have to wrap up.
Yeah. I don't have too much more. I got a little. I was going to take it back. I suppose keep it in the purview of the times. But another thing I went to rewatch was Contagion, which was a Steven Soderbergh film. Just for the main reason, I remembered watching that movie thinking, this is ridiculous, and I wanted to see how I felt watching it now. And I got to tell you, I sat there shivering, like my eyes like wouldn't blink. It was just like so on point, like almost like minute for minute what was happening, and like it seemed to take a really darker turn that we haven't really quite taken yet, but like couldn't see any reason why that couldn't happen necessarily. And they used some language in the movie that I don't remember hearing. Like they talk about social distancing. I don't remember ever hearing that term before, like 2 weeks, a month ago. Yeah, it was an interesting rewatch for sure. And the things that they kind of highlight, like to me, what's interesting is how the reality is behind all the gloss and behind any type of operational like security and any type of like protocol that's in place. Is the thing is that our society is really just never all like really more than like maybe 2 weeks, 10 days to 2 weeks from like complete collapse, like without some sort of like essentially cash injection either to the top or to the bottom. When things come to a halt, they also fall apart almost immediately. There's no net. There's no safety net for sort of like, the American way. If it falls apart, like it would turn to anarchy pretty quickly.
Yeah. If only
Who's in that movie again?
If only
who's in it? Is that what you said, Corwin? Sorry, Viet.
Sorry, Corwin.
Yeah, let Viet go first.
No,
Yeah,
it was
go
like if only there was a presidential candidate that would have helped to fix that.
Yeah.
Cue Kermit drinking his tea. Meme.
Hey-yo, Kermit.
Sorry, Corin, I keep talking over you.
Who was patient? Who
Matt-
was patient zero, Bobby? Because I think I've
Patient Zero is Pepper Potts.
Pepper Pot. Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't remember her name yet either, but yes, I didn't see that.
Gwyneth
That is a
Paltrow.
very solid movie. Gwyneth.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so Steven Soderbergh directed it. He's famous for like the Ocean's 11 movies, and having kind of like a slickness to his style.
But I'm sure they do their research for these movies too, and they actually talk to people about these actual situations. So I'm not
That's
surprised
right.
it's pretty head on because,
I think you're really right. I think you're right about that, Corwin. That's you can see that in the difference between certain types of movies where something is like a fantasy or it's a horror movie or it's like, you know what I mean? It's a genre film versus this is literally like, it's not exactly a documentary, but it is kind of it's a cultural potentiality. Like like potentiality. We're gonna accept that, judges. Okay.
Sure.
Like they're like, we're lining up to say this could happen. This is what it might look like if the wrong and right factors all came into play at the same time. And that's literally the microcosm of the movie, because they're kind of like somewhere on the planet the wrong bat met up with the wrong pig, and then the wrong germs mutated across, and now it's
The ending of that movie pissed me off because it could have been so easily avoided. Just one
easily
idiot. Idiot just didn't do the right thing.
But it's also like that's true, but in the same breath, it's like, how many times a day does that happen exactly the same way? Millions of times. You know what I mean? It's just like, the point is, there's cities on this planet that are home to like 30 million people. That's not safe. It's just not like you can't really conduct like a life that's like, first, I mean, you're kind of stuck within some pretty serious confines when you reduce yourself to that type of lifestyle. And I don't know, it just offers up these kind of ideas like, is this really the path that we wanted to be on? Is this where we want to be with this? Is there anywhere else to go? I don't know.
Let's simplify it, Bobby. It just comes down to this: wash your damn hands.
Wash your damn hands.
Wash your damn hands. That's all it comes down to.
Yeah.
If you work, especially if you work in a restaurant, wash your damn hands. Come on now.
Yeah.
Truth be told.
Don't be nasty.
Exactly. Ivy, at last pass, what you got? Anything else?
I've been still rewatching Gargoyles on Disney Plus.
Ooh.
I'm behind on it, but yeah.
Damn, yeah, that Disney Plus password.
Yeah, it's
I'm gonna buy it.
and it still holds up. I mean, like,
Really?
yeah. I mean, minus the animation is pretty solid, and I mean, minus like the fact that it's in the 90s, right? So you're, the fact that nobody knows about Gargoyles because cell phones weren't around for people to take pictures. You're just like
adjust expectations for 90s
technology
paraphernalia. Yeah.
But otherwise, yeah, it's been solid. I'm at the part where they go to Avalon and they go to the different areas and you see like the different kinds of gargoyles and stuff. Like, I remember that part. And I was just like, oh, this is so cool.
It's funny you say that about the cell phones. Real quick anecdote. That's one thing like William Gibson, who's one of my favorite authors, the Neuromancer guy. Like when people talk about how like incredible his future sense was to sort of predict these ideas about cyberspace and the internet. Like, if he was so on point, like, how come there's no mention of communication devices of any kind or cell phones across the Neuromancer trilogy? And really not until there's a character who has sunglasses that have a telephone in them in one of the books, but it's like a joke. It's funny, like what type of things as we get into like the future is here. It's just not evenly distributed. What are the elements that show up? Like, no flying cars. Come on, we can't have that by now. And
yeah, I was going to say that.
And yet, like, people have microchips in them that are like basically GPS. So, partly Jetsons, but not.
Side note.
Yeah, go ahead.
This one fool.
Let's try that again, Corwin.
In his hand.
Yeah, one more time, Corwin.
Oh, I'm breaking up.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sorry. I saw something about this one fool who surgically implanted the starter for his car in his hand.
Physically implanted the starter for his car in his hand. That seems.
Yeah.
That seems like. It seems like he's missing the point.
Yeah.
It's taking convenience to a level of inconvenience.
Yeah, and it's funny because like these conspiracy theorists right now that are talking about Bill Gates right now they're saying that he wants to develop a fake vaccine in order to microchip everybody.
Yeah.
You know,
Okay.
like the vaccine for the COVID.
Yeah.
and everyone's just like you realize that they can track you now with your cell phone.
Yeah. You realize, or second of all, you realize all you nitwits already paid to have that done for you when you were like, ooh, let me just get 23andMe, and you donated your DNA to all the different like federal law enforcement agencies across the country that now have the widest like net for surveillance that has ever existed.
Think about me, because my wife has been trying to push me to do that.
No.
I don't really care to.
Yo, dude, that's real talk. Tell her that. Like, no, we're not doing it. Here's why. It's an automatic.
She's done it already.
Oh, it's done? Oh, well, you lose.
I'm just like, nah. Like, I don't,
she just did her.
I don't feel. Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, I suppose it depends on, if you're quite certain that you have not, stepped too far outside the lines.
But I mean, yeah, even that, not even that, like even the simple things, like like those little get to know you games that people play like on the social medias. They'd be like, first date. You're like, where was your first date? Blah blah blah. This is like you're just giving this. Like you're just giving everybody like a way of like figuring out your
data,
password.
Yeah. the data that we willfully sort of like give up without even considering the consequences or the fact that we're giving up data. Like the sort of like, what do they call it? They call it social engineering. Is basically tricking people into, and into giving away their passwords, right? Or the keys to finding out their passwords. Like, what was your first pet's name? Oh, really? Wasn't that your freaking, what street was your, blah, blah, blah. And like, it's funny. These are the same questions my bank asked me in my security questions. And that didn't stop you from answering them on Facebook? Like, open to the world. So, it's quite odd. Like, now people are all of a sudden like, hold on. You can't just have my data for anything like a cure for COVID. That seems totally unreasonable. But what you can have it for is for a free email account with 2 gigabytes of storage. With that, you can have every piece of information about me. And on that note,
so one last thing I'm going to talk about, because I watched the first episode of Stargirl. It's on the CW. Produced by Jeff Johns. He had a big hand in it. He also created a character based it off his sister who was murdered and some other stuff. Not to get too morbid, but that show has been fantastic. Second episode is already out. I think it came out.
You're a little bit breaking up, Corwin, but Stargirl, I heard you say it, and it's fantastic. Jeff Johns. Is it definitely set in the DC television universe, or is it separate from the other CW?
They haven't linked it yet, but you do see the Justice Society of America get a quick to them in the past, so they can easily link it if they wanted to. But it's a very fun series. It's definitely a family show as well, but I mean, they balance out everything. Everybody will get something out of that show.
That's cool.
It's Jeff Johns, so usually I have a lot of faith in the things that he does or has a hand in, and he really gave it his all for the show, and you can see it, and it is fantastic. I definitely highly recommend you guys check that one out for real.
No doubt. I actually will probably get right on that. I got to admit, there's been a tiny piece of masculine hunk hole in my heart missing, like since Oliver Queen retired himself into being dead. since Arrow ended, and I needed another show to take that place. I don't know. I'm sure this is not going to fill that that Slate homo thug
Maybe
area,
not, but I've said it before. Check out Legends of Tomorrow. That show is just so much fun. It's ridiculous how fun that show is, and silly at times, but just so much fun.
Yeah, I'll probably jump back on that too.
Is Stargirl a CW show or a DC
Is
show?
CW.
Okay.
Seems like they're, whether or not it's like overtly in the DC, television universe. It seems like an easy jump, right? Like, why wouldn't they?
Well, I mean, there's like, can you stream it on like the CW site, or do you watch it, or do you have to have the DC streaming service to watch it?
No, it's a CW
website.
Yeah, it's like it's
okay.
on.
So it's a CW show.
Yeah,
that's what I was asking. Okay.
Word.
All right. Let's wrap
boys.
it up. Goodbye.
Yeah.
Poor Corwin.
Yeah, he's getting attacked by sea dragon slugs.
Corwin, you're being eaten by time critters or something.
Yeah,
They're
blue dragon
swallowing you.
sea slugs are covering up his mic as we speak.
Whoa.
Yeah.
We're
Anyways,
gonna wrap it up for Corwin.
Yeah. Anyways,
all right. How do I sound now? Better?
Just ugly. It's really not all that better, to be honest.
Yeah. Anyways,
right,
email us emp@earthsmightiestpodcast.com. Again, if you can, support us on Patreon, patreon.earthsmightiestpodcast.com. Bobby, plug your social medias.
You can find Bobby at Bobby Mobetta in all your favorite social areas like Instagram or Twitter. That's about it. And you can also email me, BobbyMobetta@gmail, if you want to mix it up. I really would encourage you, though, to sign into your favorite, whatever your podcast catcher is. Search EMPcast, search Earth's Mightiest Podcast. Find us. We're on all of them because we're real like that. You know what I mean? And you can find us in your favorite one. Just search for us, favorite us, give us 5 stars. You know how this works. Unless it's 5 stars, it might as well be 0 stars. So think of it that way. It's more like pass fail than it is 1 through 5. Okay, it's 5 or nothing, 5 or nothing, and we want 5s. Do the 5s. Okay, thanks, guys.
Yeah. So mine is at ComedianViet or ComedianViet.com. Corwin is the at EMPcast on Twitter.
Yep.
And then our website, earthsmightiestpodcast.com. And with that,
check out that Yip Yip Livestream.
Yes, and Yip Yip Livestream.
Oh, yeah. Catch us all back here for some Earth's Mightiest Podcast, Avengers books of sometime recently. Next time.
Yesteryear.
Yeah, we're finishing up the Kree-Skrull War, and and then we're gonna do the Demon Bear saga on EMX.
All right, I promise all of my fans out there that I will be back on the airwaves in the next coming episodes. So sorry for my hiatus. We'll see you guys soon.